Hello everyone, welcome back to Sophist, and this is Sajid. And today we are with the second session of HSA English class. And as I told you yesterday, today we'll be discussing uh, the poetry section from the module 1. And we are going to discuss the poetry of Shakespeare's sonnet number 121. Okay. So hope all of you are ready. So let us begin without wasting much time. So as everybody knows, William Shakespeare was born in the year 1564 and his lifespan extended up to 1660. So of course he was born in England in Stratford upon Avon. Right. So in his lifespan, he has written almost 37 plays and 154 sonnets and 2 long poems. Right. Okay, as our area is sonnet, let us particularly focus on sonnet. What is a sonnet? A sonnet is a 14-lined poem, 14-lined, 1/4. If we just look at the history of sonnet, we can see that the sonnet as a literary form was actually originated in Italy by the great poet Samuel Petrarch. And from Samuel Petrarch, this sonnet was actually brought to England by Thomas Wyatt. And thereafter, we know that there were many poets who experimented in sonnet. And this sonnet is basically categorized into 2 sections, the first 8 lines and the next 6 lines. The first 8 lines are called octave, and the next 6 lines are called sestet. Okay, S-E-S-T-E-T, sestet. And usually these sonnets are written in quatrains, and quatrains means actually 4-lined poems are generally called, 4-line stanzas are generally called as quatrains. And Shakespeare's sonnet has one peculiarity. He usually writes it with 3 quatrains and 2 couplets. That means 3 quatrains means 3 into 4 lines, that is 12 lines, plus 2 couplets. Couplets means actually the 2 ending lines. That means a rhyming couplet. That means these those 2 lines have some peculiarities in Shakespearean sonnet. Usually they end with the same rhyme. Okay, so rhyming couplets. So, and also once we come across with Shakespearean sonnet, it has some more peculiarities. Not only the structure, that is octave, sestet, and also this rhyming couplet. In addition to that, it also followed a particular meter. Okay, that is what we call as iambic pentameter. Iambic pentameter. Okay, so iambic pentameter is related to penta means 5. Okay, it is a metrical pattern where he divided it into what we can say 10 syllables. That means each line is divided into 10 syllables. Anyway, this meter we will discuss separately in another video, and meter, rhyme, rhythm, figure of speech, etc. we can have a discussion separately in another video. So as our purpose today is to discuss the sonnet number 121, so we will particularly focus on sonnet number 121. So before that, just keep it in your mind what is the structure of a sonnet, and where was the sonnet originated, and who brought the sonnet to England, and what is the structure of a sonnet. Okay, so now let's come to the sonnet number 120. Usually Shakespeare speaks about a problem in the first section, that is in the octave. That means the poet brings a problem in the first section, that is in octave, and finds a solution of the problem in the next section, that is in the sestet. And usually it ends with a rhyming couplet. And that means usually this rhyming couplet is often noted for giving a particular message to the readers. In Shakespeare's sonnet, he particularly addressed, and especially the critics say that Shakespeare particularly addressed 2 people in his poem. And even now, we are not sure who are those people, but there are some inferences or some guessings are there. Some say that actually some of his sonnets are dedicated to Mr. W.H. Okay, and Mr. W.H. And some of his sonnets are dedicated to a dark lady. A dark lady, critics call it because actually they do not know who that lady was. Right. Anyway, I think it is sonnet number up to 127. They were dedicated to this gentleman called W.H. and who was believed to be the Earl of Southampton at that time, and who was actually like a patron of Shakespeare and who helped Shakespeare a lot. And most of these sonnets, and this Earl of Southampton was a young man, and most of his sonnets were dedicated to this gentleman. So let's look at the first four lines of the poem. It is better to be vile than vile esteemed, when not to be receives reproach of being, and the just pleasure lost, which is so deemed not by our feeling, but by others seeing. For why should others' false, adulterate eyes give salutation to my spotty blood? Or on my frailties, why are frailer spies, which in their wills count bad what I think good? It's better to be vile than vile esteemed. So that is how the poet begins the poem, no? Right. It is better to be vile than vile esteemed. Right. The anchor of the poet, or the disgust of the poet, again is the Hippocratic world or the Hippocratic society, is very clear in the first line. It is better to be vile than vile esteemed. അതായത് കള്ളനല്ലാത്ത ഒരുവനെ നമ്മൾ കള്ളനാണെന്ന് പറയുന്നതിൽ നല്ലത് അയാളൊരു കള്ളനായിരിക്കുന്നതാണ് അർത്ഥം അല്ലേ. ഉദാഹരണം നോക്കുക, മദ്യപിക്കാത്ത ഒരാൾ തൻ്റെ സുഹൃത്തുക്കളുടെ കൂടെ ആ പുറത്തേക്ക് ഇറങ്ങി വരുമ്പോൾ കാണുന്നവരെന്ന് പറയുന്നു അവനും മദ്യപിച്ചിട്ടുണ്ടെന്ന് പറയും അല്ലേ. അപ്പോൾ അവനും മദ്യപിച്ചിട്ടുണ്ടെന്ന് പറയുമ്പോൾ തീർച്ചയായിട്ടും ഇങ്ങനെ മദ്യപിച്ചിട്ട് ഇവനും കള്ളുകൂടിയനാണ് അല്ലെ മദ്യപിച്ചിട്ടുണ്ടെന്ന് പറയുന്നത് കേൾക്കുന്നതിനേക്കാൾ നല്ലത് മദ്യപിക്കുന്നതാണ് എന്നാണ് പോയിട്ട് പറയുന്നത്. ഓക്കെ, അതായത് ഞാൻ തെറ്റ് ചെയ്തിട്ടില്ല, തെറ്റ് ചെയ്യാതെ ഞാൻ തെറ്റുകാരനാണ് എന്ന് കേൾക്കേണ്ടി വരുന്നതിലും നല്ലത് തെറ്റ് ചെയ്യുന്നതാണ്. റൈറ്റ്. ഓക്കെ. It is better to be vile than vile esteemed, when not to be receives reproach of being. Receive reproach of being, and just pleasure lost when it is so deemed. And when somebody calls me as a vile person or a vicious person, and I feel like reproach, that I feel like what you can say, going away from that, because and just the pleasure lost which is to be deemed. I really lose the pleasure of life. I can't really enjoy the life when which is so deemed. Which is so deemed. Deemed means which is being attributed, which is being conferred, which is being given, not by our feeling, but by others seeing. Right? When somebody is attributing, when somebody is deeming such kind of qualities on me, then I feel like I really lose the pleasure of my life. I really lose the pleasure of my life, and when not by our feeling, but by others seeing. Right? In others' eyes, or in the eyes of some other people, I am an evil person. I am a vile, vicious person. So when I think in such a way, I really feel that it is better to be a vile than be called vile by somebody. Right? And this really happens to lose the pleasure of my life. Okay, and that's what he says. And not by our feeling, but by others seeing. When others see us, and I feel it like that. Okay. Now, look at the next lines. For why should others' false adulterate eyes give salutation to my spotty blood? Right? He poses another important question. For why should others false adulterate eyes? I told you the poet is really angry, no? Being a young man, he is very angry. Because why these people are finding fault with us? Finding fault with me? So he says that, for why should others fault adulterate eyes? Adulterate eyes. He would like to even call their eyes adulterate. They are doing adultery with their eyes, no? Right? They are doing prostitution with their eyes. Why? Give salutation to my spotted blood. Right? Their fault adulterate eyes give salutation to my spotted blood. Actually, my desire. And why are they just trying to belittle? Why are they trying to belittle my desire, my lust? അല്ലേ? ഇപ്പം നോക്കുക, പോയിട്ട് പറയുന്നതാണ്. കാരണം എൻ്റെ താല്പര്യങ്ങളെ അവരെന്തുകൊണ്ട് ഹനിക്കുന്നു അല്ലേ? അവർ ഓരോരുത്തർ നമുക്കറിയാം. ഇപ്പോൾ നമ്മൾ പ്രസൻറ്റ് സൊസൈറ്റിയിൽ നോക്കിയാൽ മതി. ഇന്ന് പ്രസൻറ്റ് സൊസൈറ്റിയിൽ നമ്മൾ നോക്കുക, ഇപ്പോൾ നമ്മളുടെ സമൂഹത്തിൽ നോക്കിയാൽ തന്നെ ചുറ്റുപാട് വി ആർ മോർ ഇൻട്രസ്റ്റഡ് ഇൻ അതേഴ്സ് ഡീഡ്സ് അല്ലേ? നമുക്ക് മറ്റുള്ളവർ എന്ത് ചെയ്യുന്നു എന്ന് കാണാൻ നമുക്ക് കൂടുതൽ താല്പര്യം. റൈറ്റ്? അവനെന്താ അങ്ങനെ, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ അവനിതാണ്, അവൻ നല്ലതല്ല, അവൻ ഇത് ചെയ്യുന്നു, അവൻ ഇത് ചെയ്തു, ഈ കാര്യങ്ങളാണ്. സോ പോയിറ്റ് റിയലി ഹേറ്റ് ഇറ്റ്. That's why he says that you are finding fault with your adulterate eyes, and why are you trying to prevent my lust or my desire? എൻ്റെ ആഗ്രഹങ്ങളെ തടയാൻ നീ എന്തുകൊണ്ട് ശ്രമിക്കുന്നു, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ നിങ്ങൾ എന്തിനു ശ്രമിക്കണം? Right? Why are you always finding fault with me? Right? Give salutation to my spotted blood, or on my frailties, why are frailer spies? Or on my frailties. And you must have noted that Shakespeare has used the word frailty many times, no? Frailty, thy name is woman, and he said many times. Okay, see, and or on my frailties, and frailty means actually its meaning is weakness. Or on my frailties, why are frailer spies? I don't claim that I am perfect. I'm sure that I am imperfect. I never claimed that I am perfect, the poet says. But at the same time, and or on my frailties, why are frailer spies? Because you are more frailer. That means you are more weaker than me. Right? You have many weaknesses when you compare me with yourself. So when you are such a dirty person, such a vicious person, and you have interrogated or you have involved in many kind of such things, who are you to judge me? Who are you to comment about me? Who are you to, what you can say, evaluate my behavior? That's what the poet says. What you can say, angrily. See, and or on my frailties, why are familiar spies, which in their wills count bad what I think good? See, which in their wills. Sometimes these kinds of people, sometimes the so-called leaders of the society, and which in their wills, that means in their desires or in their thoughts, count bad. Sometimes what they count bad or what they think bad, what I think good. Right? Sometimes whatever things I think good, I know that these things are good, but sometimes they judge that these things are bad and I myself is not good. So this is actually the observation of the so-called leaders, of the so-called Hippocratic society, the Hippocratic people. So that is what he says. So that is our line's second stanza. And now over to the last stanza with the rhyming couplet. No, am that I am, and they that level, at my abusers reckon up their own. I may be straight, they themselves be beloved, be well, by their rank thoughts, by my deeds must not be shown. Unless this general evil they maintain, all men are bad and in their madness reign. See, and no, I am that I am. And you might remember Shakespeare once said, no, I am what I am. No, he says that I am that I am. Right? So no, I am that I am. Here actually he means I am what I am. I know who am I. And I know clearly what about my character, what about my behavior, everything. Right. I know I am that I am, and they that level. They that level. I know their level too. I know their level and where are they and what are they doing and what about their activities in the society. I know everything clearly. Right. I know am that am, and they that level. At my abusers reckon up their own. At my abusers, right? And at my abusers reckon up their own. So whenever they abuse, whenever they scold, whenever they find fault with me, actually who is being exposed? They are always being exposed. They are always being revealed. Right? I may be. At my abusers reckon up their own. I may be straight, they themselves be well. I may be straight, I'm sure that I may be straight, but they may be bevel. Bevel means slant. See? And I'm sure that I'm straight, I'm doing things right, but their level is not proper. They are slant. That means they are doing something wrong. Right? By their rank thoughts, my deeds must not be shown. By their rank thoughts, that means in their judgmental thoughts, no? And in their judgmental thoughts, and my deeds must not be shown. Sometimes they may not see what I have done, right? But I'm sure one thing, I'm right, I'm straightforward, right? Unless this general evil they maintain, right? And they will not find quality or they will not find goodness in my deeds until and unless this general evil they maintain. That means until and unless they follow this general principle. What is the general principle? All men are bad and in their badness reign. If they follow this principle, until and unless they follow this principle that all men are bad and their badness reign, that means in their badness they are ruling, and until and unless they reach in such a conclusion, they will never find good in me. Otherwise, they will always find some problems in my behavior, and they are actually hypocrite people. And I never say that I am completely or 100% innocent or genuine. I also have committed errors, but I am far better than these people, and I don't like these people to judge me because they are more of evil-minded. Okay, so I do not like them to judge me, right? So, and see, he says, unless this general evil they maintain, all men are bad and in their badness reign. That means until and unless they agree that all men are bad and they rule in their badness, and they will never agree that I am good. Okay, so this is actually the poem. Okay, hope you understood the poem. Now let's have a quick look at the literary devices given. And we can find the literary devices like caesura. Okay, caesura. Caesura is actually, it occurs when the poet inserts a pause in between the middle of a line. And for example, all men are bad and in their badness reign. So we can say that the poet makes a pause in between these two lines. All men are bad and in their badness reign. So whenever poet make a pause in between a line, we call it as caesura, right? And another poetical device is quite familiar for everyone. It is alliteration. We can also find alliteration. Alliteration is actually the repetition of same sound or letter in the neighboring words or the nearby words, like dropped down dead, dropped down dead. The sound d is repeated or the letter d is repeated. Okay, so in our poem we can find the word while and while is repeated. Okay, receives and reproach. Okay, so in line 2. So like that you can find examples of alliteration in the poem. And again, you can also find examples of another poetical device called enjambment. And enjambment occurs actually when the poet cuts off a line before its natural stopping point. For example, when a line is not completed actually without full stop or that, before that he cuts the line and he may bring it down to the next line. So in that context we have the poetic device enchantment is there. So for example, we can find a transition between the lines 3 and 4 as well as 5 and 6. If you just look at the poem, you can find that lines 3 and 4 and 5 and 6, we can say that poet breaks it and brings it down. It's called enchantment. Okay, caesura, alliteration and enjambment as the poetic devices used in the poem. Okay, so just a quick recap. We discussed about Shakespeare, we discussed about sonnet, where both the sonnet originated, and Samuel Petrarch, Thomas Wyatt, then Shakespeare's sonnet, and Shakespeare's sonnet's peculiarity, how the sonnet was divided into octave and sestet, and a rhyming couplet. And one more thing is there is volta. I think I just forgot to mention it. Volta is actually the transition point. Okay, for example, when there is a problem, from that problem, when the poet comes to the solution, that transition point is called volta. Shakespeare always follows the rhyme scheme AB, AB, CD, CD, EF, EF, GG. Just look at the poetical lines and we can see it easily. AB, AB. For example, esteemed, esteemed, d. It ends in. Always remember, when we divide the rhyme scheme, it should be the last sound of that line. Okay, esteemed. So it is marked A, and being, ng, is the ending sound. So we mark it as B. It's a different sound. So like that, the comes again. So we mark it again A, and seeing, ng, is repeated. So we mark it again B. So AB, AB, couplet. So they always have the same rhyme scheme. So you can find that the last two lines enter maintain and reign, no sound. So always remember, this rhyme scheme is considered with the last sound of a line. Okay, right? Hope you enjoyed it, and just share me your doubts, or just share me any points that you would like to. So if you like the video, press the like button, and also share it, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more videos. So in the following day, we can also expect another lessons from the module 1. Okay, thank you for watching.